Hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque, painting live on Thursday, July 8th at 7 p.m. Central Time. And this week we have a extra little freebie week because we actually finished our box early and got back on track. We finished our garden friends, our turtle and our snail. And then we had extra pieces you could add to your box. We had the praying mantis, the frog, and the worm. And so you guys had kind of voted last week that you wanted to see the praying mantis painted tonight as our little extra. So that is what we will be working on. So welcome everyone. And I got to Courtney's a few minutes early and got our base coat of I used deep turquoise, Duncan OS 468, Duncan OS 468, and then I had supper quick, and now I'm just looking back at him and touching up any spots where I can see the white bisque through my base coat, and his whole body was done with the deep turquoise OS 468 and the bottom. Just going to touch up a few more spots here. So I wanted to save time by having that done ahead of time because you don't need to see me just base coating him, but then we left him dry and ate. So hope everyone had a great 4th of July. The week certainly went by fast again. And our weather went from 90 to 60s, so we're happy for that. We are working on shipping your Christmas in July box, which is Christmas in July, I think Courtney called it. What was that?
Most of them went out.
Most of them went out today. We have a handful or two to go out tomorrow. If you're getting a truck, those haven't gone out. I'm actually firing some more of the trucks tonight when I get home from here. I have two that we missed on the order list, which was Courtney will be getting a hold of you guys to see if it's okay to send those early next week, because I'll pour them tomorrow and get them cleaned and fired this weekend. So whether you want your whole box to be held up or if you want us to send the box and send your piece later. It was the gnomes with the holding the star. So I think there's two of those. And then one rail planter I'll throw in the kiln tonight also. So we got this little guy all base coated with our deep turquoise, and this is what he's got to dry here for a second. So this is what he's going to look like when he's all dry brushed and done. And then while he's drying, we'll show you your next, our box that we're shipping right now, which is our Christmas in July box, which is our Christmas in July box. And we have these ornaments. So you'll be getting all 6 ornaments in the box.
Yeah, put the string back on.
Courtney took the string off because we weren't able to get the twine that we had.
No, I need it for the photograph.
Oh, for the photograph. So this is the twine or the string you'll be getting. It's a satin silver. It's called rat tail twine or ribbon? Rat tail ribbon, I think. So if I can find a wire, I can actually show you how we do that. There's a little extra tonight, as long as we can let our little man dry.
Rat tail silk cord.
Rat tail silk cord. So you'll be getting this in your box as well for your ornaments. And you'll get snow and white glitter and then some silver glitter. Then you'll also be getting this wire in your box. And we'll go through this when we do the boxes also. But I just stick my wire through my holes in the top. And this one's being a little buggy because there's glue in there because Courtney pulled out the cords that were in there, so we're gonna have to make do here. But usually it'll work easier than that. So it's just that my holes got glue in them from her pulling out the strings that were in them. I don't want to do it that way. We'll just show you extra while we're letting that dry. So you just got to stick this wire. Usually if you go from the top down it works better, but with the glue in there I got to go the other way. So you put it part way through, and then you have your loop on the bottom here. But usually you can go from the top down. It's just we have glue in those. Then you can take your string and put it through your loop in your wire. Tie a knot or two at the end. One should be plenty. And then you kind of slide that knot down to the end. And then probably don't have E6000 here in the cart. I don't see it. Oh, right there. No, I didn't swipe it yet. So then I just take a little E6000. And now we haven't used that in a while, so that's kind of clogged up here on the end. And I'll put a little bit of that on the end of my knot here. And it doesn't take a whole lot. And then I'm not sure if that's going to pull. And then you pull it through, and these actually have a smaller hole than the ones you guys got, so that's actually not going to work because the string is bigger than what we had. So you would just pull it through, and your holes are a little bit bigger in your ornaments, but you would just pull that through and it would pop right through there. I'll have to drill these a little bit bigger, but that's all you do to put your cording in your ornaments. You put your wire through, put your make a knot, put your E6000 on there and pull it through. Again, these have a smaller hole because we had different twine when I made those, but then we couldn't get that anymore, so we had to switch to that rat tail satin. But we'll go through that when we're doing the ornaments. So you will get all 6 ornaments in white bisque. We will color wash the blue set with navy and then dry brush it. We will base coat the purple set, and then we will do some painting and some dry brushing. The white set, or the red and green set, we will paint those out and then antique it with a black-brown mixture, and then come back and dry brush the white area. Then they're all sealed, and then we put the snow and the glitter on them. And you can put the gloss sealer on your berries. So you'll learn all 3 techniques with this box, and you'll get all 6 ornaments, the wire to hang them, your cords, your satin rat tail for your cords, and yours will fit through. Your holes are bigger than they are for these. These were made before. So that is your Christmas in July box that we currently are shipping this week. We have a few more available if anyone wants to purchase them. Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. Courtney will probably share the link for you guys. So that's those. And then today is an extra day because we finished our box a little bit early. Oh, and then you'll also be getting this. Which size brush are they getting, Courtney? This 10?
No, an 8.
You're getting a size 8 brush like this.
We're going to be hopscotch
as part of your extra in your box. We couldn't get them in order. Part of the shipment is out on the ocean. We did get 3 months worth, but they're out of order. Usually we go in order from big to small or small to big. But Courtney thinks it was size 8 that she put in the box today, but it'll be a nylon painting brush like this, and it's from Royal. It's a soft grip. It's a nice little nylon painting brush. So the last 2 years we did do the dry brushes, so this year we're gonna do the nylon painting brushes. So you guys have another brush set by December if you were with us for all of the months of the boxes. Then you'll get your usual instructions, and then there will be the inventory sheet, but there is no flyer for those because Donna's we can only get the new molds, we can't get new flyers. So we can go back now to our little fella here, and I did not write down instructions as I did him. So we'll have to do a little, what should we call it? not guessing, but just going by what he looks like. So I believe I probably started with our, well, let's see. I think we'll start with our bright blue first, and then we'll do our light turquoise over the top. So we're going to start with our bright blue, OS 459, Duncan's bright blue, OS 459. So let's see, how's everyone? We got everyone on here tonight. It looks like everyone's from, we got Florida, we got the north coast, we got Massachusetts. Winging it, that's the word, Wanda, we're winging it. And I also poured a few, for our Bisque sale, I poured a few Native American pieces. So Courtney and I have to probably set the date on that tonight after I get done here, when we're going to have our Bisque. I don't know what we're going to call it. It's not a sale because the prices are on sale, but it's like a shopping show type of thing. Shopping night, show and tell, show and buy or something. We'll come up with a name tonight and set a date. And so we also poured some Christmas things, some Halloween things, some fall things, and then a few Native American things. And then our order is coming in. I'm waiting for the trucking company to call for delivery. So we'll have 12 new basket inserts, and those molds come in dry, so we'll be able to pour those for our shopping buyout or whatever we call it. Maybe you guys can come up with a name. How about that? Come up with some names for our shopping show, sell-a-thon, or whatever we want to call it.
You'd have been fired from marketing.
Huh? Could I have been fired from marketing? Well, yeah, I'm not a marketer, I'm a painter. All right, so we're going to do some dry brushing. Oh, he's pretty hard. I'm going to have to wash him out. So this brush, he must have not got washed out very good the last time, so he's kind of stiff in there. So what you can do is take Murphy's oil soap and massage that in there. Oh, extravaganza, that's a good one. Bisque extravaganza. Well, it may not be just Bisque, so we're not going to call it just Bisque. Extra extravaganza? Well, that's kind of confusing too. Show and sell? Oh, that's a good one. Show and shop? Yeah, that's a good one too.
I like show and shop.
So we got Ohio tonight too, Pennsylvania, more Ohio, Illinois, Buffalo. All right. So if you have a brush that's stiff like that, you can get Murphy's oil soap, like in your where like the clothes and dish soap stuff is, and massage that in there, and that'll loosen that right up and clean that up just like a new brush. So I'll have to do that, and I usually do that about once every 6 months with my brushes anyway. So I'm just going to start with this flat. It's a Royal size 5. I'm going to go into my bright blue, and we're going to dry brush on there. So I'm going to just X this out and get the most of the paint out. Show and sell, show and shop. Oh, we got Tennessee on there too tonight. So now I basically did like from his little mouth down to his chin. Dry brush across his little his little mouth there, because we don't want to go with the indent in his mouth, so that we fill it in. And we're just going to dry brush him. And he's fairly smooth, so it's going to take a little bit of work to dry brush him, but we're going to kind of just work our way around here. You could paint these guys any colors. You could paint them solid. You could even glaze them if you have access to a kiln. So I just did the dots on him to kind of keep him with the family with the other ones, with the turtle and the snail. So I just kind of started on one side and going to work my way around to the back. Let's see, I poured some pumpkins too for our sale, or our shop and sell, or whatever we call it. So I'm going to try to have a nice variety of stuff that you guys can add to your boxes. We may not be able to get a lot of bigger pieces in your boxes, because the piece itself for August is a large round piece. And that's just I don't think Courtney's letting me tell what it is yet. Maybe next week. Actually, next week, yes, I will have it painted and we can reveal what it is. So next week we'll have show and tell for August's box, and I already have 21 of them poured, and the other piece that comes with it. And then I'm working on the technique that we're going to be using, which is a brand new, something we haven't done in our whole 2 years of being on here. So That should be fun. So I'm just kind of coming through the back of his head here and working my way around. I kind of went a little bit further on top than I wanted to. I went down through the whatever you want with this guy. So yeah, we'll have show and tell next week with our August box, and I think everyone's going to be pretty excited about it. I actually expect it to sell out. So that should be fun. And then we'll have whatever we call our shopping and buying get up or whatever. So I poured some ghosts, the hand-in-hand snowmen, the hand-in-hand scarecrows. So just a nice variety of stuff. Someone asked if we have plant tenders. Yes, we do. We have about 15 plant tenders.
They're cute too.
There's a watering can, there's a frog, there's a snail, there's a bucket. I'm just trying to think, because I just poured about 8 of them the other day and got those in Bisque and fired.
They're really cute.
They're cute, Courtney says, and she usually don't like stuff like that. So I just actually worked my way around, and now we're just going to work our way around again and keep building this navy up. So we do have the plant tenders. That was one of our last things that we got from Rose on our last trip, because I just thought with houseplants being so popular that plant tenders would probably be a good thing to get. Oh, Christmas ornaments. I poured Christmas ornaments for the son and daughter, mother, father, granddaughter, grandmother, aunt, uncle, baby's first Christmas, minister, special friend. So we'll have those 2 for the sale. So that's just a few things that I'm working on. This week it was a busy week with the box, so that kind of took precedent. Although this morning I had to go to the storage unit and stack the clay onto the side of the building wall so we can have room for the next 2 pallets.
You don't have any larger fairies, do you? We just have the really big Gare one.
We have one really large fairy that's way too big to ship. It's the Gare one sitting on a rock, and then we just have the clay magic fairies otherwise that we've had in the box last year and this year. That's all we have for fairies, yeah. So I'm just working my way around with our bright blue. You see it just keep building it up, kind of fading it out as it goes down to where you want to stop it. So it's not an abrupt line, but just kind of a nice soft line.
Your tablet needs to be retired.
Why?
I think it's just them.
No, it works. It's just really slow. No, I can't get my Gmail to open on there. I don't know what's with that.
I think it's lived its life.
No, it's pretty old already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is your tablet you got me looking at.
That's Tracy's.
Oh. So I'm just working my way back around. You can see it's slowly building up our bright blue color. And I basically don't want to see my turquoise through it, only have the turquoise like in the crevice around his mouth, which isn't a big deal because I actually painted the mouth black too, so. Just dry brushing back and forth and working our way around. Let's see, what else? I saw a doe and 2 fawns with their spots on today on the way here. And I need some more of our bright blue. Of course, they were crossing the road in front of me. And this guy's plugged up too. It was nice to have 60-degree weather here today. It kind of started yesterday already, so we had lots of rain on Tuesday and later Tuesday because it was hot at first on Tuesday. So Cordy's having fun packaging up all those ornaments for your boxes, and then all your extras, anyone that bought extras on our sale that Thursday like 2 weeks ago. We do have a couple invoices outstanding yet, so if you're watching and forgot about it, you can still pay and we'll still ship them. Just dry brushing here back and forth, going over his mouth line, kind of getting it more gradual as we get away from the edge here where we're going to kind of stop. We don't want to have a straight stop line though, that's real abrupt, just kind of nice and gradual so we have less and less bright blue as we get to the away from where we have a lot of bright blue. So it's a nice gradual transition. Let's see, I see the Oriental lilies in my front yard are starting to blossom. So now when your paint is really shiny like that, my brush was too wet. But because it's got pretty full coverage on it already, it's okay. But if I was just starting, that would have made a really messy glob in the middle of my piece, and I would have had to brush that out for a while to even that back out. So you want to make sure you don't get too much paint on your brush when you're picking up your paint. You don't want to go in there like you're base coating something. You just want to go on the edge and get a little bit of paint and then brush it out on your paper towel. So I just grab a little and then brush it out. And then come to my piece and brush back and forth, or you can do the C-stroke, kind of a comma. When it's really flat and smooth, I kind of do prefer that C-stroke, so I'm kind of going like a C, the letter C. And that kind of blends that down into the surface better, or easier than just going back and forth. Everybody kind of has their own way of dry brushing, but that's kind of what I do. Let's see what else is going on. I'm not sure. It's been a long week again. A lot of stuff to get poured and cleaned and fired this month on a short time because we didn't get our molds until the middle of June. So we got them and they're on their way. And what's not will be tomorrow or early next week. So I'm working my way around here. Got him looking pretty good. It's pretty solid coverage, and then it's kind of faded out as it goes to the outside edges on the top and the bottom. And then I can still kind of see through in a few areas, so you don't want it spotty or blotchy like that. So you just want to maybe go around a second or third time and get those areas so it's nice and even. You want a nice even coverage. So we're just working our way back around. And that looks pretty good. And you want to look at him from different angles so you can see that it's covered evenly from all the different angles. That's especially important when you're base coating something with a lot of texture in it, to look at it from different angles, because you'll find those little white areas that didn't get covered, and you'll want to go back and cover them up, or when you're dry brushing they'll show through really obviously, kind of like a match in the forest at night. So we got him looking pretty good. So from there I think we will go to our turquoise that's on his top half, which is our light turquoise, OS 469 light turquoise, Duncan OS 469 light turquoise. Denise says she enjoys our class, so thank you, Denise. I hope everyone is enjoying it. We enjoy it too, so what's up? The video keeps stopping. So I'm actually going to switch to a new brush just because it's a lot lighter color and I want it to be light. Maybe it's Facebook. No, I know the tablet seems okay. So I have just a size 5 round brush, and I'm just going to dip into my light turquoise, brush that out. And now we're going to do his little top half here. And I'll start And actually, I do usually like to start on the back, so if I do have too much paint in my brush, I don't have it gobbed all over the front and make it look all ugly. Carrie says it is stopping randomly. It probably is Facebook. Huh? Yeah, it could be my phone too. My phone's like 4 years old, so we have to do some technology updating, I think, one of these days. So I'm just dry brushing our light turquoise, and I'm going to bring it down to my bright blue and just kind of blend those together so they look like they're a gradual transition from one to the other. And then a pretty solid coverage of the light turquoise up on top here, kind of like we did with the bright blue. I actually didn't have cell phone service yesterday, so I think there might have been problems with the towers from the storms we had earlier on Tuesday. Huh? We're on Wi-Fi, yeah, I know. So. Well, we're just going to start on the back here, and then we'll work our way around to the front. And you just keep going and lightly building it up. I'm going to start into the turquoise and come over to my bright blue, and then kind of just have a real light transition there. Kind of just doing that C stroke again. I just kind of tend to do that a lot. Denise said she had good storms too. I think we were supposed to have like 2 inches overnight on Tuesday night, and I'm guessing that we probably did. But we had been in the 90s, so we really needed that moisture, so. It's hard to believe like summer is like really half gone for us here already. We're just going to build up our light turquoise on his little head here. And I'm not brushing real hard, just kind of more than kissing it, but gently brushing on it, not bearing down really hard on the brush. So we are a little behind this week with shipping the box, being that they went out today, but we had lots of supply chain issues this week, from paper to what all? Tubs, the tubs that the glitter went in. The paint order took over a week to get, which it normally doesn't. Usually it's like 2 to 3 days, and the brush order, they had to actually split that up, and we got part of it, and we're actually still waiting for the other part of it. But luckily those are brushes that, well, actually I think Courtney is waiting for some of them to go into boxes, aren't you? Or not? No, you're okay with those?
He shipped me my brush, the box brushes.
So Courtney did get what she needed to ship, but so it's been a tough week and a half getting supplies, even paper, even the paper that the instructions go on. There's a shortage of paper apparently, even yeah, shortage of cardstock. There's just everything. So actually next week her and I will be sitting down and looking at what we need for the rest of the year, to try to get all that stuff in our possession. We're set with the clay, obviously, because I got 4 pallets here in the last month, which shall take us to the end of the year. But we'll have to look at our cardboard and the cellophane containers, and or the cellophane bags that everything goes in, and get everything in-house, I guess you could say, because there does seem to be shortage, particularly a cardstock shortage of one of them. So we're just brushing our light turquoise, and we're kind of like gradually fading it into our bright blue, so we don't have a straight line. It's just a nice gradual fade of the color. We also want to go from the top down, so you get the top of his little eyeballs here. And that's fairly solid coverage, but not completely. but pretty solid. As I'm going along the edge here, where the blue and the turquoise meet, I'm actually brushing very light so that I can have that nice soft transition of color from the turquoise to the bright blue. So that's looking pretty good. I think we need one more time around. So Denise says, does your hand bother you when you dry brush, clean, wear, or pour? Not generally, because I think I do enough that it's enough of a variety. Like I usually don't just clean all day. I usually start the day out by taking molds apart and then pouring molds. Then there's some cleaning usually goes on. Then taking molds apart. So it's kind of all broke up, I think, as long as I break it all up into different little hours of work and not just a straight day of it. So I usually try to, everything's kind of broke up because usually my routine is in the morning is to take molds apart, pour molds, clean, haul stuff to the classroom, come back, probably clean some more. Take molds apart that I poured in the morning and then pour a different batch that will sit overnight. And then take that batch apart in the morning then. So it's kind of a variety. I probably try to do a variety at a time throughout the day. Like today I actually had to go to the storage unit first and move molds and then unstack that one pallet and put it against the wall so we had room for the new pallet. So not usually. Actually I have to get some mats to stand on out in the garage because probably having more trouble with that this week than anything because standing on that concrete, my legs ache at night and I can't sleep. So that's probably going to do that tomorrow because I'm actually out of fish food and cat food, so I'll get that from Tractor Supply tomorrow. So I got a nice little spot where my blue is coming through my turquoise, and that will happen if you get your dry brushing too wet. So I'm actually going to let that dry, and I'll come back and touch that up. So I think my turquoise looks pretty good blended here. It's got a nice little shading into the bright blue. So from there we're going to go to our yellow belly. I think that's what's next, and then probably our purple on our arms.
Brenda, I can't read my comment. Can you tell her the comment thing happened to us last week?
What's that?
Brenda's comments aren't updated.
Which Brenda's? Mine?
Brenda Lucas.
Huh?
Brenda Lucas.
I don't see Brenda Lucas.
She can't see any new comments.
Oh, I'm not Brenda Lucas. I'm not seeing it since I logged on. So what has she got to do?
It happened last week to me, and even when I went out and came back in, it didn't update.
So Cordy says that happened to her last week too. She went out and did an update.
No, like even when I went out and came back in.
Oh, even when she went out and went back in, it still didn't do it. So I got something on. I don't know what I did here. Oh, never mind. I got it.
You can try changing a device.
Cordy says you can try watching from a different device and it might be okay. It just kind of, Facebook has just really been weird lately because they're working on updating stuff and they're not completely done updating it. Let's see if I can see the comments here. So Denise says, wow, but I don't know why. Does your hand bother you? No, not usually. Let's see. Courtney's got, we're caught up, okay. Amanda already wants a second box after the show and tell. Yeah, you'll likely have a second box. But the second box, you can do the shipping for $9.99. So that's not a big deal either. That's actually a really good deal.
Yeah, we pay the difference on that. Like, it doesn't actually cost.
Paula says hi. Hi, Paula. Let's see. Cardi's on the desktop. So I think we're all caught up, so. Yeah, so I just kind of, so Denise says you kind of have a system. Yeah, I kind of have a system. I mean, it isn't the greatest one, I'm sure, but working on getting the garage organized. Yesterday, I spent a little bit of time in between pouring molds while they're setting up doing that. So that's getting better. So it's all getting better, getting it out of the house, and next will be to clean the house because it's kind of dusty. From working in there for the last year, but it'll get there. So now we're going to go to our yellow. I have our Dunkin' OS 434 lemon peel. Our Dunkin' OS 434 lemon peel. So it's OS 434 lemon peel. And I'm going to take a drink, so excuse me. And then I'm going to actually grab a new brush, because we're switching colors. And I see yellows in this one, so I'm just going to grab this yellow, and it's a size 8. I'd probably normally go with a 5, but since there's this one stained with yellow, it kind of drew my attention. So we're just going to lightly brush on his little belly. So we'll take a look here, and it's just on his belly. So we'll get his little belly yellowed up here and up above a little bit. So this is our, July is actually our 2-year anniversary. We shipped our first set of boxes in July 2 years ago. So that's pretty cool that we've done it for 2 years. It seems like 2 months and not 2 years. So I don't know where, huh? Well, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
Feels like it's a lifetime.
Corey says it feels like it's a lifetime. I mean, it probably feels like it's like 8 months ago, but not 2 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. This is a bad week, Cordy's. This is a really busy week for us, because she's got all that invoicing to do, and then to keep track of all the extras and just making sure everything gets in the right boxes, and because it's not like we're just packing all the boxes with the same thing. There's maybe, how many this time? Like
34.
20. So actually there was a lot of plain boxes this time. Usually there's around 20 plain boxes that are all packaged the same. This month there was 34, she said. So that's actually quite a few plain ones this time, but then every box beyond that has something else that nobody else has usually. So I mean, they're all customized boxes after that. So it takes a lot of concentration, and you know, to make sure everybody's getting the right thing, what they ordered, and she does a great job with that, and not many mess ups and not much breakage. So we've been really fortunate with that because she's really good with that. So now that was way too wet, so I got to brush that brush out. Whenever you get a big glob like that, that's your dry brush is too wet, and you want to brush that out. So now we're going to have to build our yellow up to that so that blends in, because we don't want to have a big old blob like that sticking out in there. And we got to come back up here to his little belly up underneath his neck and make sure we get that. So again, I'm kind of doing that C-stroke. I don't know if you noticed that, but that's kind of what I favor on that smooth surface. And then we're just kind of doing his belly. Again, we'll have it more solid in the center, and then we'll kind of fade it out towards the edge so it isn't a real abrupt stop or an abrupt line. You can see it's heavier here in the middle and then less as we go out. So that's what we're doing, the same thing. So it's just kind of the same thing. So let's see, any new questions? Denise missed the first year. Yeah, we've actually had a lot of people find us after the first year. Believe it or not, we only had 8 boxes our first month. And we have many more than that now, which is great, which has...
Still working full time.
Yeah, I was still working full time, yep. So we've come a long ways in 2 years, and
We used to be able to box in a day.
huh?
We used to be able to box in a day.
Yep, we used to be able to invoice and box in a day, yep, do all that, but that's what's made it possible for me to quit my job of 27 years, so it's all going good. And actually Courtney has quit hers as well. She actually quit hers before I quit mine, so we've come a long ways in 2 years, so it's been pretty exciting. So I think Courtney's falling asleep back there at the computer, you guys.
Like when you sit down.
Yep, as soon as you sit down, you get tired, because I know at the classroom, usually by, not that I'm sitting when I'm there all the time, but usually I'll sit down for lunch, and then by 1 o'clock or 1:30, I could really go for a nap. And then the rush comes, yep. So as long as you're on your feet and keep moving, it's okay. So I just want to make sure I always come up here and get the little neck area too, so we're not missing that. So that ends up lighter than the rest of it. We're just keep going around and around, bringing up our yellow so it's nice and even. Brush it out on our paper towel, and then brush on him. So the next box will be fun because you guys will get to do color washing, and then the base coating, and then the antiquing, and then the dry brushing with that. So it's actually a really good beginner's box if someone's out there wondering if you want to try this or not. Like, it's a super beginner box because they're littler pieces, not too overwhelming, and we'll go through them step by step, and then you'll learn the 3 different techniques, and then you can actually compare the pieces to see which one you really like. So it should be a really fun box to do. And then it's Christmas too, so that's always fun. And they're snowmen, and lots of people like snowmen. If anyone wants an extra set of ornaments, well, actually we're already shipping that box. Oh, I must be tired too. If you guys like,
I can fit them in the next month.
We could actually, Courtney says she could, if you really like your ornaments and you decide you want more, you could always message her and she can add them to your invoice for next month too. There should be room in there for the little ornaments. There won't be room in there, like a pickup truck won't fit in there, something big won't fit in there because the piece itself is big. And you'll see what that is next week, and I think you guys are going to be thrilled. And then what we're doing, I think you'll be thrilled too. But if you want more ornaments, you can add them for next month too. Like smaller, skinnier, littler pieces will fit in there, like the inserts, the basket inserts will fit in there. So, but otherwise, if you're shopping, you get that second box for $9.99 too. So he looks like his belly here is pretty even. So I think we're gonna call that good. And now we can switch to our purple. And we're going to go with our Duncan OS 452 purple. Duncan OS 452 purple. And we just need a little pile of that. And that we are going to put on his little feet and on his little wings up here, or little arms, whatever you want to call them. And I'm actually going to go to another new brush here tonight because it's a different color from the yellow. And I want something a little softer. I have my size 5 Royal flat brush. So I'm going to grab my purple and brush it out. And now I'm just going to go, and actually I want to touch up where my yellow is on my turquoise here first, because we're going to leave that with our turquoise, our deep turquoise. So I'm going to get a little pile of that. And I'm just going to take my brush that has the light turquoise in it and work some deep turquoise into it. And I just want to touch up his little, the front of his little arm here where I have the yellow on it. We're just going to kind of, almost kind of wet brush that so we get a little bit heavier coat on it. And you could even paint it on if you wanted, but we want to get that yellow covered up and back to our deep turquoise, just because I'm only putting a little bit of purple on the highlight part of his little arms. And then it looks like we got some blue up here, so we'll just kind of dry brush over that. And then kind of on his little wings down here, we're going to get those with our turquoise. And then it looks like I got some on his little feet here. We're with our yellow, so we'll touch that up. And then I think we should be good. sure that dries and it's covered. I'm just kind of dry brushing that deep turquoise right back on his little arms where the yellow got onto it. Okay, so now we can go back to our purple and we'll let that dry, so we'll actually go down to his little feet here and just kind of highlight those with the purple. Again, that's the OS 452 purple. And we'll have more right at the base and then less as we go out, so it's kind of faded out. So we've had a lot of fun with the boxes the last 2 years. I mean, it's been a lot of work too, but it's been great meeting. Even though we haven't met you guys in person, it's been great on Facebook and in messages, and seeing your messages and seeing your posts of your pictures of your pieces that you've painted in the Bisque box when you post them. That's great to see all that. I'm kind of talking a little too fast here and getting it a little too wet with my purple, so I think I gotta slow down with the talking and pay a little more attention to dry brushing. I'm gonna let this one dry and go over to this one since I got that one a little too wet. So if it gets too wet, it gets kind of like it doesn't want to take the paint. It gets shiny and wet looking. You just want to let it sit then and move on and come back to it later. Just kind of let it dry.
Elizabeth asked how did you do the colors. She would have thought to use these together.
So we have a question: how did I choose these colors? You've never thought to work them together? Well, I kind of went looking at the snail and the turtle, and I wanted different colors, but yet I wanted colors that were in those. So that's why the bright blue is from the turtle. The yellow is from the snail. And then like the praying mantises are usually, I think they're a bright green, so that's kind of why I went with the turquoise color. I just wanted them bright and cheery. I don't know that they are really matching colors, but it's kind of out of my color range. Usually I'm all blues, but
Surprised all of us.
huh?
You surprised all of us.
Cordy says I surprised all of you. So I just wanted it really bright and happy and cheery, and different than what I always do, because I tend to do blues. I just love blues. So, but the turquoise is kind of in the blue family, so I kind of didn't completely get out of the blues. But then we have the bright blue, of course, so that's back to our blue. So I just have it heavier at the bottom here and then lighter, less purple as it gets towards the top of his little toes. So now with my talking, I kind of got two wet spots here because I'm talking too much and not paying attention to my paint. So we'll let them dry. Now we're going to come up and we're just going to get it through the middle of his little arms here just to kind of highlight those and give it another color. So we're just going to kind of brush real light through here. And you just want to make sure you don't pick up too much paint and you brush it out really well on your paper towel. Kind of with talking, it's kind of get carried away once in a while. And then it gets a little too wet. So if you have shiny and wet looking, your dry brushing is too wet. It should be really going on fairly dry. So I'm just going kind of like through the middle of his little arm, and I have it heavier right through the middle and then less as it goes away from it, so it kind of fades into the turquoise. And then kind of strong right at the center of it where the light would really be hitting it. So let's see what else we got. Denise loves the colors. Simone says it looks easy. Carrie likes the blues. It's not hard. It just takes time and patience. You really have to be patient to be a dry brusher because it's a slow process. It's not a fast paint it and you're done. It's a pretty slow process. Courtney, I'm sure, wouldn't like it at all because she don't want to paint anyway. So she says absolutely not. I mean, I know even at the classroom, I have ladies that like to glaze, ladies that like to dry brush, some that hate dry brushing. It's a variety. Yep, the ones that don't like to dry brush like the old antiquing way, which is we'll be doing that on the red and green ornaments. So that's why it's just a really good box. It's just got a variety. I didn't want to do them all the same. I mean, we might as well learn if we're doing it, so that's why I did the 3 different ways of doing it. So that's kind of shiny. You can see that that's too much going on then. I must have had a little wet spot in my brush there. We're just going to kind of fade that out, and then we can go to his other arm and do the same thing. Yeah, I was surprised my little inspector didn't even reject my colors when I showed her these guys. Because usually once the samples are made, then I send Courtney pictures and a couple other ladies pictures to see everyone's thoughts. Because, like, I don't always see things the way they see things, and they see things different than I do, so it's good to get other people's opinions on our samples. Otherwise we end up with scarecrows that they don't like, and Courtney says they look like clowns. They didn't look that bad. Then I end up repainting them. So, but these guys I didn't have to repaint. They passed with flying colors. So we're just dry brushing our purple on our little arms here. I kind of come down onto the little wing part a little bit, and then more through the center. So let's see, we have your September molds picked out, and they're actually coming with our Evans molds. They're going to be from Donna's. So I'll be able to get those samples done. Then we also have the October molds picked out, and those are from Mako. Your August molds are also from Mako. Yep, first time using Mako in our 2 years. So that's kind of fun. Very fall things, both August and October, so I think you guys will like those. And then the September is Halloween themed, so that'll be fun to do too. Probably have glitter on there, and I don't know what else we'll have to see. I'm just super excited about August though. I have something new for me and for you guys, so that should be kind of cool. Something I've wanted to try and just never took the time to do it, and now we're going to do it. So, and it'll be on our Mako mold, so that'll be fun. So now we're going to come back to his little toe here where I kind of had it too wet and shiny, so now you can see I can go back and dry brush that fairly easy as long as I don't get it too wet again. Same with our other toe over here. And then we'll have to pick out our November and December molds yet. November will be Christmas, and then December will probably be snowmen or penguins, something like that. Not sure where we're getting those from yet, if it'll be Clay Magic, or we may pick up molds at the Waukesha show in August, so it may be from a different company. I know Noel is there, and HK Enterprises is there, so we'll have to look at, see what we can find that fits the Christmas theme and the winter theme, whether it be snowmen or penguins, or for November and December. So like the year is just going by so fast. So I kind of have his little arms all done here and his little feet all nice and highlighted with our purple. So it's more through the center, and then it kind of fades out to less as it goes out to the turquoise part. Same with his feet. And you can see once you let that wet spot dry, you can go back and dry brush it fairly easily. You just have to let it dry if you get too much paint on at one time. and it's shiny and the paint doesn't want to stick, just let it dry. And I know people will have that trouble once in a while. And I get that when I'm talking too much and not paying attention to painting here. They want a hint for August? Oh, you're killing us. You need a hint for August. Oh.
I told them fall.
Oh man, yeah, it's fall.
It's a new mold company.
It's a new mold company. It's a new technique. A new product. We're actually using a new product. What else could we tell you? Let's see what else. It's big. It's going to take up over half the box. It's a plain. It's actually a very plain piece, but what we're going to do is going to really jazz it up. Yep, a lot of work on our end to get it. I actually have to get it kind of perfected. So now I got to go back and touch up my other wet spot that I had up here. So we're gonna just kind of dab on that. I don't want to brush too much. Let's see.
You're too funny.
What is it? Like a picture. Well, I actually did one and it's already painted kind of as a sample using the product. But the girls didn't like it, so I don't want to share that picture because they think it's uglier than sin.
It's coming.
But it's coming. It'll be by Thursday for sure. We'll have a live show and tell of it. How's that?
The piece has character.
The piece has a lot of character. What we're doing has character. It's something you guys have probably heard of doing.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think most of them have probably heard of it. But it is something newer.
Yeah.
It's not an old technique. It is a newer technique, probably from the last, I don't know, last 10 years maybe. As far as being used on ceramics. Alrighty, so we got that done. So now we got all his little shading done. And from there, I think we will actually do his eyes first so we don't have to worry about getting our fingers in the dots. Whoa. We'll crash him here yet. The dragon, nope, it's not. It's something very plain actually, but it's fallish. It's a fall thing, for sure, a fall thing, I would say. Oh, and I got enough black there to paint 10 sets of eyes, you guys. So now I'm going to go to my liner. It's a where's my number? It's a 4595 and probably a 50 liner. Were you able to get liners in the order?
I didn't see the manifest yet.
Oh, Cordy didn't see the actual, what actually ships, we don't know. So I have a 50, I believe it's a 50, a 4595 liner. And I just want to fill in his eyes with our black.
I have some of those.
Cordy says she does have some of these if anybody wants them added to their invoices. So we're just going to fill in his eyes. I'll just do the whole thing with black. Sometimes I only do like from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Let's see, what else could I say about that? It's a natural piece. It's something that's natural. How does that? I don't want to can't say too much because then you guys will figure it out. Or I'll give it away. But it is a natural piece. If that helps at all. It's a very versatile piece. So you guys may even want more of them once you see what it is. Because you can do a lot of stuff with it.
Will two fit?
I don't know if two will fit. I'm going to get them fired and...
It looks kind of close.
Kind of close, yeah. I'll get them fired this weekend so you can see what fits in the box. So I do want to get extra poured on top of, I think we're probably going to sell out actually too, so. So I'm just doing my black outline on my eyes, drawing the liner towards me. It just works better if you draw it towards you instead of pulling it away from you. That's what I usually found too. And I did see where people are getting like the long fake eyelashes and putting on these different little outside animals, and that's really cute too. I didn't do that. I didn't think of it at the time, but you can get the long fake eyelashes and glue them on, and that would be really cute too. So I'm going to wash out my liner. And I'm going to go to our white, which is our OS431. That was black OS476. I guess I didn't say that. Now we'll go to our white OS431. And we just need a little bit of white. Again, I'm going to, when I load my brush up, I pull it through my white and turn it a little bit. And that helps load those bristles up, so there's a lot of paint in there. You can go kind of far. So now we're going to make a little wedge kind of on each side. I like to start like above 9 o'clock, about at 9:30. I start over in the black, and then I come over to where I want my black line outlining my eye. And I just work my way around. And we'll do the same thing on the other side at about 2:30. Roswitha had 3 earthquakes? Oh wow, that ain't good. Well, I hope everyone is safe there. Oh, Nancy pasted eyelashes on her turtle and snail. Yep, that's a good idea too. So I'm going to let that one dry because my black wasn't quite dry the way it looked, so I'll just let that dry. Again, I'm going to start in my black, and then I can merge over to my outside. That way I know I can see right where my black line is. Now I got his little line really thin, so I'll have to go further out on the other one. Again, I start inside and merge to the outside. That way I can see how wide my outside line is. And then I usually come back and just kind of fill it in. I don't worry about how ugly it is in the center part. I was more worried about how wide my outline of my black was on my line. So I got to move this one over a little bit more just because I got the other one a little bit thinner. So we'll move this one and make him a little thinner. Otherwise I could cover my white back up and then redo the black, but we're not going to do that. We'll just make this one a little thinner. Wash up my brush because I got black in there the way it looks. And it's not drying very good here tonight. So we'll let our white dry, and while our white is drying, I will put in our little black toenails. So I just added some little black toenails and then some yellow. I just used my liner, and I just did 3, so I started kind of in the middle of the toe there and did 1. And if you wanted to make a template and like trace it on there and have them all exactly the same, you could do that too, but I didn't get that specific with him. I just kind of kept him more funnish, I guess you could say. But if you wanted to make a template, then you could trace around it and have each toenail exactly the same. And then I just kind of did even spacing then to get the third one over here. So I'm just using my liner. And again, I just kind of look at the center of this toe here, or where the foot is, and kind of put the first one in the center. And then just fill it in. And then kind of go in the middle here where the next one goes. And then add our third one on the outside. Wash out our brush. And I look at them to make sure they look good and kind of look like the other sides. It looks like this one could be a little bit bigger. This would probably be a really good kid project, because you can do different things with it. So we'll wash out our brush and we'll go back to our white now. Hopefully that's dry up there. Let's see, poor California gets everything, yeah, from fires to earthquakes and... Oh, do they get tornadoes there too? I've never heard of that, I don't think. I could do without the fires though. So I kind of got my white jabbed out of line there, so I'll have to touch up my black. So sometimes you have to touch stuff up, nothing wrong with that. Wash out my brush. We will let our white dry, and now we will go to our lemon peel, and we'll put our lemon peel, actually we'll do our black too. So I had little black lines on his little claws there. So to do those, I actually turned him towards me. And that way I could have a wider, I could push down and draw it and lift, and that way you can get that kind of a pointy end on there. My brush isn't loaded up the way it needs to be here. So I'm going to push down so I have a wider area, pull it towards me and lift, and that way you can get that pointy. So you touch it, push down and lift as you're pulling it towards you. So the first one's a little smaller than the other two. Push down, pull it towards you and lift. Push down so it's wider, pull it towards you and lift. Push down, pull it towards you and lift, and that gives you a nice little point on there. Wash out your brush. Now we can go to our lemon peel. And we'll let those dry and go back to our toes. And we're just going to kind of fill in our toes and let a little black outline on them that just kind of went with our little dots that we have on the rest of him. I'm kind of doing this first so that we don't get our fingers in the dots and smear them, because they take longer to dry. Let's see, I brought the yellow all the way down. You wouldn't have to, that looked kind of cute like that too. Some little dinosaurs might be cute painted up like this too, huh? I did pour some dinosaurs and dragons last week. Yeah, they'd be cool. The little, like 3 little kid-looking ones, they'd be cute painted like this. So I'm just putting my yellow inside my black dots, letting a outline of the black. Huh? Yep. Well, these two aren't dry yet, so we'll let those. Now we'll put our yellow beside our black here. We're just going to do the same thing. Touch down and pull it and lift. And I'm just putting it right next to the black. I touch down, pull it, and lift, so we get a nice little skinny line. Touch down, pull it, and lift, so you get a skinny line. And you could add a drop of water to your paint and mix that in if it's not like flowing well enough. So touch down, pull it, and lift. Touch down, pull it, and lift. And touch down, pull it, and lift. So now he's got his cute little lines. So, yep. Let's see. Now we'll go back to our little toes here and get those yellow. Looks like my center one still isn't dry. So I will wash my brush out. We'll go to our bright blue, which is our OS 459 bright blue. And actually I got plenty of that on the paper here. The foil, I'm going to add a drop of water because it's been sitting there. Kind of stir it up. OS 459 bright blue. And now we're going to go back to our eyes while our toes are drying. And we'll do our little pie-shaped corners from about 10 o'clock. Get our little wedge in our white. And then we'll come over at about 2 o'clock and get our wedge in the other corner and then join them up so they don't quite meet smoothly. So we're going to just do it again and smooth them out. Fill in our blue a little more. That looks pretty good. Now we'll do the other side. And actually I got to go back and fix my black because I got too much white in my black. And we'll let that dry and we'll have to come back and touch up the white. So we'll come down here and go to our lemon peel and get our other toe done. Wash out my brush. Let's see, is our black dry? We'll add just a drop of water to our black and thin that a little bit so we can do his mouth while our eye is drying. And we're just gonna put a nice little black line right in his little crevice of his mouth here. And then I just lift as I get to the end. And Courtney's yawning back there.
Ready for a shower in bed?
It's 8:15, okay. Just drawing our black in our mouth line here. And I think I got this side a little heavier than the other side. So we'll have to come back and widen up the other side. You just want to make each side, both sides equal, whether they're thin or skinny. So he needs to be a little thicker up on top here, so we'll thicken him up a little bit. Okay, now he's got a cute little mouth. Wash out our brush. Go back and touch up our blue, or our white, I'm sorry, the white in his eye without getting our fingers in his mouth. And wash out our brush. So let's see, I think we're We can do our black and our blue first eye because that's dry, so we'll just get our little wedges in our blue in each corner. And join them up. And then fill in your black center. And wash my brush, go back to the blue. So I start away from my edge and come out towards it. Now I kind of want to match this blue up to the other blue, the other eye, where that starts in the white. Again, I start in my black and merge out to the outside. That way I can see right where that blue line is going. And then fill it in. And then I want to look at them and see if my insides are kind of starting at the same areas and my outsides, and it looks pretty good. Looks like this one could come down just a little bit more. And then fill in my blue, wash up my brush. We'll let that dry. And we'll get our dowel because he's probably MIA and he's right here. So the first thing I did was put some big black dots on his nose and on his belly. So we'll do that on his nose and his belly. So I just took my dowel that was in your package from your box, dip it into my black, and then randomly put my black dots on. So when I do that, I touch straight down, and you don't touch the dowel to the piece, but just the paint, so you can kind of see when the paint hits it. And then I kind of swirled the black a little bit, so I got bigger dots so that my colored dots can go inside that. And then you want to reload, and then just kind of randomly put these bigger dots of your black, and you want to be careful not to get your fingers in them because they take a little bit longer to dry. If you touch the dowel actually onto your piece, you could end up with the blue coming through. So really it's just the paint that's touching your piece. And we're just going to swirl it a little bit and just make these random bigger dots. Now that one I touched, so I got to go back and do it. Now he's looking pretty evenly. And now we'll go to his belly. I did put one up on the top part, and then a few here and there on the bottom part. And they're just random. And I'm just pushing straight down just to the point where the paint is touching the piece and not actually the dowel. That one needs a little more. Okay, let's see what I did on the back. Okay, the back just has some lines on it. So I'm just looking, it looks pretty even, so we'll let those dry. I'm going to wipe off my dowel. I'm going to go back to my black and finish up my eyeball, keeping my fingers out of my dots. Again, I start on the inside and merge out to my blue where it's covering up the black, and get my nice little triangle corner or my little crescent corner. Here's where you want to be careful. You don't get your fingers in your dots. And again, I want to look at my black on the inside and the outside. Looks like this one needs to come down a little bit further, which is a little bit harder so I don't get my fingers in my paint. Okay, so now we'll let that dry, and I gotta carefully hold him and put some black lines across the back of his head. I'm actually gonna dip my paint brush in the water and get that black thinned out just a little bit. And I just kind of drew a curve from one side to the other, got wider in the middle, and then kind of lifted it as it went out. And let's see, then each line got a little bit shorter after that, so we'll wider in the middle. Thinner on the edge, wide in the middle. Thinner on the edge, wider in the middle, and then each line is getting shorter too. And one more. And just like that, he's all done in the back. Then I also put, he had little flower dots on his back. So to do that, I just used a larger ball stylus, dipped in my yellow, and put 3 dots almost touching each other. And we just randomly put those on his back. So it's just a random 3 dots together. And that's just on his back. So we'll just keep going here. And we just keep going. This is our lemon peel. And we're just doing our 3 dots together. I lost my screen. We're just doing our 3 dots of lemon peel on our back. And I did a couple down here too. And the biggest thing is with the dots is not to get your fingers in them while they're wet. And then I came back and put a couple single or some random single yellow dots. So he's just dotted up all over. He looks like he's got the measles. And if you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that either. You guys can do whatever kind of trips your trigger with this stuff.
Have you seen any painted?
Huh?
Have you seen any painted up?
Have I seen any others painted? Nope, I haven't seen any painted. I don't think.
Post their picture.
Huh?
Post their picture.
Have they posted pictures? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys, if you're anyone that got these guys, if you want to post your pictures of what you did, that would be cool too. If we could see what everyone did with theirs. So just putting some random yellow dots. So we'll let those dry because then we put purple in the center of the 3 dot ones yet. And then the back is done. And now we're going to wipe my ball stylus off. Be careful where I grab here so I don't get my fingers in the yellow. We're going to put our little highlights in our eyes. So I'm going to add a drop of water to my white and stir that up. And then we'll put a comma in each eye without getting our fingers in our paint here. Usually at about 1 o'clock, and you want to have a curve to it. You don't want a straight line because you want that eye to look like it's rounded. And then I usually put a dot at the top. That's just a little bigger than my curve. And I usually try to put a little X in the corners, and I make those curved as well. That makes your eye look curved and not flat. And that's a little bigger than I like to, but I can't really rest my hand on there because it's wet. And then a dot on the top of each of them. And then your little eyeballs are done. And then our dots up here were, looks like the light turquoise and yellow. So we got our light turquoise and lemon peel. So I'll make a little pile of that. Huh? It'll be okay. So you would want to let these dry completely, but mine's not dry completely. So I'm going to take my dowel and I'm going to stick half of it in the bottom into the light turquoise and the other half into the lemon peel, and you can swirl it on your foil or your paper, whatever you're using, if you want to get it swirled up a little bit. And then you kind of, I'll look for the driest ones here, kind of center that then on your black dot and try to leave some of the black showing. And you just go around and do that to each one of those. So I need more paint. And just kind of swirl it in there a little bit. Need a little more green than it looks. And you do want to wait for your black to dry, otherwise that's going to swirl with it. But to show you guys, we're just going to kind of go with it here. If I don't swirl it too much, I shouldn't swirl the black too much. And again, I'm just going straight down, letting that paint touch. And I usually turn that dowel just a little bit, but since my black isn't quite dry, I'm not turning it too much. But you just so you touch it with the paint and not the whole wood dowel itself. And you can see you can go back and touch them up. And then I'm kind of letting my black on the outside show through. So there's our yellow and turquoise dots. And I'll wipe my dowel off, and now we will go to, oh, it looks like I had purple and blue. So we'll get our purple, a little bit of purple pile, and our bright blue. And I'll use the pile I got because that's stuck. So I'll use dip my dowel into my purple and into my blue. And again, just go straight down and swirl it just a little bit and let some of your black showing. So now my dowel touch, so I can see through my, I can see my black, so I'm going to go back and do that one again. You want to let your black dots dry before you do this, but we're kind of on a time crunch here tonight. I'm just going straight down. So it's not hard, like the less precise you try to be, probably the better your swirls will be. So that's those guys. Then I put random turquoise, the light turquoise dots around up here. You can just add those here and there. And that's the light turquoise. So he's got all kinds of dots. And they can be bigger or smaller, whatever you want to do. Then I also put light turquoise inside of my purple and my blue, but that's too wet. I can't do that. Let's see. I also put some light turquoise dots at in between his little, at the end of his little arms here. Just a couple dots in between each of his little wingies here on his hand. So you can put dots wherever you want, whatever colors you want. There's no right or wrong. So let's see, let's take a look at him. And then on the back we put some purple ones inside our yellow. So try not to smear anything here, and I think I might have. Yep, I did. So we'll go into our purple and put that right in the center of our yellows. Our 3 yellows. So if you don't have a ball stylus, you can use the end of a smaller brush. That works really well. Okay, so he's got his dots on the back. Now I did smear him here on the front, so I'll see if we can fix that. I'll go to our, let's see, what did I have? Yellow and green, turquoise. We'll just touch that one up. And then I'll have to take my bright blue and kind of touch this up here. I smeared the turquoise one, so I'm just going to paint right over that one, and we can actually touch that right back up with the turquoise. And the only thing left to do is put the dots in the center of the purple and the green, but that's really too wet to do. So that is your little praying mantis guy all done. As a little quickie extra for this week. I did spray them with the gloss aerosol sealer. If you liked having the extra video, give us a thumbs up or hearts or some comments and let us know you like the extra little freebie. If you want to add him to August box, you can just message Courtney. She'll have to see if he fits, otherwise he should fit in September's box, possibly too. Or you can get the extra box with the $9.99 shipping. And then the video will be saved and you guys can come back and paint him at your convenience or use the ideas to paint up your other pieces, whatever you want to do. So I hope you guys had fun tonight. Denise hasn't started hers yet. You always hit those dots. Yeah, it's better if you can let them dry in between. Like when I painted the samples, I left them dry and I worked on all 4 pieces at the same time, so it's easier to do it that way. But this is just kind of do it all in one little quick show for tonight, since we're all caught up finally from February when our stepping stone box wasn't such a caused us a little problem, but that's okay. We're caught up and you guys got an extra freebie and we are shipping your boxes. Cordy will probably be messaging, I think, 2 or 3 of you that your box is going to be a little bit late, maybe early next week, or if you want to have your box sent in your insert held or your truck, whatever. So I think that's about it. And then next Thursday we will have show and tell with your August box. Probably our date will be set for our buy and shop. And then we will start painting these guys next Thursday. It will be your Christmas in July box. And that's what we will start on next Thursday. You'll be getting all 6 ornaments, silver glitter, snow, white glitter, the ornament hanger to hang it with, the brush, your instructions, and inventory sheet. So hope you guys had a great night tonight. Hope you had a great 4th of July weekend. Hope you have a great week, and we will see you next week, everyone.